My speaking notes now say brief intro of Matt and Jeff, so I'll make it very brief. I guess 4 quick facts. Jeff Garzik, one of only a small handful of blockchain core developers. Matt Roszak, one of the first and largest VCs in this space. Both of them co-founders of Block, and I've heard them both speak many times. They're that rare find in that they're people that are deep in the technology, but they speak in plain English, so that people like me who are not deep in the technology actually understand what they're saying. So I want to welcome them up. They have a special announcement to make today, and so please give them your attention and applause.
Hello again. My name is Matt Roszak. I'm co-founder of Bloq with my dear friend Jeff Garzik. Bloq is an enterprise blockchain software company. We build enterprise blockchain networks for market leaders, primarily go to market in 3 verticals: banking, insurance, and supply chain. And when we started the company, we initially said we have to build a great team. And it's much easier to build a great team with a halo surrounding Jeff Garzik and inspiring the folks to come on board. And then we built a product, and then our go-to-market strategy with partners like PwC, Deloitte, and Microsoft. And then kind of looking back, the way we started with the team is that we actually hired a lot of great open source developers, a lot of volunteers that were giving to this community, unbeknownst to a lot of you, unbeknownst to me, that we're building some of the fabric that we use every day in this ecosystem. And we brought them on board, and a good chunk of their time goes to fixing, updating, and keeping a lot of the open source Bitcoin blockchain stuff up and running. And it's an important thing to do. And then after that, we said, you know, we are going to draw a circle now around some of this stuff. So the way we go to market is we have a software suite called Bloq Enterprise, and it's what you would use to build, manage, and scale a blockchain. It's called Bloq Enterprise. We have a consulting practice called Bloq Think, and that's strategic architecting for blockchain networks. And today, we're pleased to announce the formation of BloqLabs. And so with BloqLabs, we, just based on what we did to this open source community and the volunteer effort, and contributing to some of these projects, we also encompassed kind of a new perspective. And we kind of looked at history of like Xerox PARC and Bell Labs, and said these were some of the icons that gave to some of this, you know, not necessarily skunk works, but some of these more leading edge things where today we are building ways in which banks, insurance companies, and otherwise use blockchain to save money, pretty soon to grow their markets, and then ultimately to disrupt their markets. And some of the leading edge technologies is more the 3 to 5 year investment for them. We're bringing that into BloqLabs, and so there's beyond the open source projects that we're supporting, we're also investing time, energy, and money in some of the more kind of distant technologies that we think from a product standpoint will come to the fore for enterprise. We want to bridge that gap.
Absolutely, and that's what we call the connecting our customers, our BloqLabs, or our Bloq customers with this font of innovation. We're all standing on the shoulders of greats, and those are the innovators that are in our community, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the other developers that are working hard until 3 a.m. in the morning, building the software. They might not necessarily have a business model behind that. They might not necessarily have a business behind that. But there's absolutely a foundational technology that we need to move from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, et cetera. And so we're pleased to announce through BloqLabs that we're sponsoring an initial 5 projects. Some of these we've been sponsoring for well over a year. Most notably the Android Bitcoin wallet, one of the most popular wallets with over 1 million downloads. Bitcoin J, which has several $1 million of liquidity traded through it every day at most of the major exchanges. There's something called Drive Chain, which is a fantastic and very innovative technology which allows very easy, safe, and secure side chains to connect to Bitcoin and be safe, secure, but at the same time, it's your own token, it's your own capability on that chain. Quantum, or Qtum, I'm not sure I need to get that pronunciation straight. That's a fantastic technology that merges sort of the best of Bitcoin and Ethereum both. And so these were some of the very foundational projects that we thought needed to boost the entire ecosystem into where it is today. It was very rough around the edges, 2010, 2011, and this is the type of developer, the type of technology that we need to help get the foundational technologies for our customers into the hands of our customers. You have these sort of the guts of the engine under the hood. You have to get those right before you have the shiny Corvette driving into the customer. We also have another announcement as well.
Yeah, so you guys heard of Enterprise Ethereum Association. So Block is now a member of that platform and has also elected Jeff to the technical steering committee. And just to toot Jeff's horn a little bit for him, Jeff spent 10 years at Red Hat, so taking open source software and productizing that for enterprise. Was a Bitcoin Core developer, and last fall was elected to the Linux Board of Directors, which is a big deal because it's like Microsoft and Samsung and Intel and Block, and I think that's really important for not only my dear friend Jeff and for Block, but for this ecosystem, that there's a steward there that says, you know, we've got Hyperledger and all these other railroads out there that need this guided attention and perspective that I think Jeff could bring to the table.
Absolutely, and one of my personal, I don't know if you want to call it a pet peeve, but blockchain governance is huge, and this audience, this city is very apropos to think about those issues, discuss those issues. How do you govern a decentralized system? How do you set into place, how do you set into practice processes for governing economic changes or scaling changes? You see a lot with the Bitcoin scaling debates. You see a lot with the Ethereum Classic divides. There's a lot of this public policy, quite frankly, that is just left undiscussed in the technical communities. And that really needs to mature. That really needs to change. As I saw over my career at Red Hat, I watched the growth of Linux from nothing to where it is today in every data center. I watched the growth of the internet itself. I grew up with the internet. And what are those working groups? What are those processes behind that success that really took the internet to where it is today? You have organizations like the IETF. They create something called RFCs, which are essentially the standards and specifications for the internet. We don't have anything like that in blockchain today. There are some nascent efforts. There was an early effort with Bitcoin Foundation, et cetera. And this is really what the Ethereum, what the EEA is looking to do, is reference implementations, specifications, and moving towards a much more realistic governance model, a much more managed change process and upgrades, with the ultimate goal of really making this technology much, raising the comfort level of enterprise with this technology and seeding this technology throughout the industry. So it's very exciting.
And Jeff, I thought you were like a Bitcoin guy, so now you're joining this Ethereum platform. So, but it's actually very close to the strategy of Block, where we think it's going to be a multi-token, multi-network, multi-chain world. And so you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, we're members of Hyperledger. Having an interoperable software stack and model, we think makes all the sense in the world, given all the innovation and things that are happening in the space where the ground shifts underneath our feet every single week and month, and you have to have that kind of flexibility in the way you approach building these networks. So very, very
absolutely. It's so early that you don't want to bet on one horse. Interoperability is key. It's going to be a multi-chain, multi-network, multi-token world. So that has to be the foundational strategy going forward for your organizations, just like it is with ours.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.